Hi guys, Lindsay here with Storybrooke Family Farm. Over the past few weeks, I've been pouring a ton of energy into trying to get the house done, trying to get our house to feel like a home. And it had nothing to do with the holidays or anything of the sort like that. But I did have a goal in mind of getting all of the flooring laid before Thanksgiving, which I accomplished that goal. The flooring is laid. I'll give you guys a quick sneak peek of it. Bam, flooring, it's laid. I do still have to paint the baseboards that I installed the other day and do a lot of deep cleaning. Heating with wood causes there to be a lot of dust all the time. And to be quite honest, when I'm actively working on construction type stuff, the last thing I'm really worried about is how much more dust I'm creating to then wipe off. I just sort of, a lot has been on my plate for a long time, so there's been different things that have essentially been tossed to the wayside to just, because I only have so much energy, to just sort of get it away, get it done and over with. And that's been essentially how I've been processing having so much on my plate and having so many things to do, because I can't really just scrape different things off all that well, but I can just toss the whole plate, I suppose, out the door. Those are all terrible analogies. Sorry. But basically, for the last several years, because of the journey that we've been on, it's been about 4 years since I felt like I've had a home. And that is an incredibly difficult thing to realize. And on Friday, when I finished laying all the flooring in here, it hit me like a ton of bricks when I finished the floor. Like I actually laid down on the floor and just sobbed my eyes out because of realizing that I finally felt like I had a home again. And that is something that is pretty much throughout my entire life. I've been someone that always feels homesick for something that doesn't exist. I remember being in kindergarten and I ended up going home from school early because I was so distraught because I was so homesick. And I remember that when I got home, I still felt homesick. And that's something, that's a feeling, that's an emotion that within me has always been ever present, pretty much as long as I can remember, is that I randomly will long for a place that doesn't exist. And it causes a lot of feelings of heartache and homesickness and sadness and depression, and sometimes also anxiety. But to carry that feeling all the time with you, knowing that you'll never get that itch scratched, and then you realize that even on the physical plane, that there is no sense of home for you here either, that there's no place that you can go to recharge, that you can rejuvenate, that you can just be yourself, that you can take all the masks of society and different roles off and just relax and just like be like, to realize that it's been almost 4 years since I've felt that, and then for it all to just sort of wash over me after I finished the floor was huge. And as I was laying on the floor, I realized that it's been several years since I felt comfortable even laying on a floor, because when you live in a camper with 3 dogs for a year and also with a teenager, the last thing you really want to do is lay on the floor, to be quite honest. Plus, you have no room. You'd be like this, all jammed up in between stuff because there's no space. But it's been hard. Like, to be quite honest, like I've been struggling a lot through this project and through different avenues of doing this renovation, because I don't feel like there's a place that I can ever unwind, that I can ever just power off, that I can just disconnect from all the stress and just exist. And I think on Friday, that kind of really hit me hard as to how important it is for me to feel that in the physical realm, that there is a place that feels like home and that I can actually like live in. And this all started when I first started laying the floor, and I did shoot a video about that when I was starting to do stuff in the dining room, about how doing the flooring has changed my perspective. Because what kept happening while I was doing that was I actually kept like flashing back mentally to the house that we had had when we lived in town, and realizing that I hadn't felt any of these emotions since we left that home. And that place for quite a while didn't even feel like a home for me. It felt more like a prison. And so to go basically, long story short, I realized when finishing this project out, finishing it all done, that there was huge parts of me that I had been really severely neglecting. A lot of like self-care type stuff, a lot of essentially how I've gotten so much done through all of my aches and pains and ailments and difficulties and the obstacles that this house has presented itself or has presented to me, and stuff has basically just been to put my head down, power through every single thing, neglecting myself, neglecting other things, neglecting anything that made me feel happy, just so I could get it done, because I felt like I was in survival mode the whole time, that I just had to put my head down, force through everything, push through the pain, push through the injuries, just push constantly. And it's been really, really difficult to just keep pushing like this. But to finally feel like I can just catch my breath and actually create a home again has been huge. So this past few days, actually, I've been doing a ton of like deep cleaning, cleansing myself, cleansing my soul, cleansing my room, cleansing everything, because it's like, oh my God, I have a home again. And I'm like, holy shit, like I've let so many things go for so long, like within myself, within just everything, that it's like, I haven't been living, like I remember when, okay, so there's been 2 times in my life that I've like cried like legit tears of joy. Both of them times have been within this house. So the second time was on Friday when I finished the floor. The first time was when we first got the plumbing all done in here, and I took the first shower in this house. When we lived in the camper, we did not have running water for 11 and a half months. We lived without running water. Where we were staying at, my in-laws did not have an actual shower in the bathroom that was not in the basement, and the basement was creepy as all get out, so I was not about to shower down there. So I took baths every single day that I needed to, get clean and stuff. And I'm not a bath person at all. Like I don't think you ever feel clean after taking one. So it was a really big deal to finally get to having our own home, to then do the 3 S's of, shit, shower, and shave in your own home, in your own bathroom. Like I literally stood there just sobbing and pouring so much tears of gratitude out as I was showering and stuff, just because of how big of a moment that felt. To feel like a human again is how it felt. And basically on Friday, the same thing came crashing down emotionally, to just feel like I didn't need to wear shoes in the house all the time because the floor was icky. To not have to feel that way, to feel like, oh, this is nice. I can walk in bare feet. Like I don't have to worry about getting a splinter or the floorboard breaking under my foot or any of the millions of other things. Like to just feel like I could breathe again is immensely huge. So yeah, I just want to share my bit of a transformation with you guys, just because of the fact that I don't know the type of impact this is going to have, because this was a very profound moment for me. Like one of those things of that once you walk through a certain doorway or a certain threshold or whatever, that that there's no turning back. There's no going back. And for me, it kind of felt like when I put in the last couple pieces of flooring and I cleaned it up and I stood back and I looked at it, it kind of felt like my days of struggling, my days of heartache, my days of severe depression and difficulty and questioning of, was this the right thing for us? And for me, it felt like all of those insecurities and stressors and heartache and trialing times and difficult times and things of struggle were finally over. It was like I clicked that last piece of flooring in, and it closed the door of immense struggle and immense difficulty that I had been living through and living with. And to be quite honest, it was pretty powerful. It was pretty moving. So yeah, like I said, I'm not sure on the other side of that happening, sort of where things are going with me. So I might end up taking a break from posting videos for a little while. Plus, too, with the holidays, things are kind of crazy. But don't panic if you guys, if I go a week or so without filming, because I kind of need to just sort of allow myself to sink into this new space, to this new energy, and actually let us move in. I've actually been working today on upstairs unpacking boxes that are in our room, because the whole time that we've lived here and that we've had this place the whole like a year and 8 months, we have not unpacked boxes. We've been living out of boxes now for about 3 years total. So it's kind of one of those things of, it's time for me to make a home. It's time for me to nest. It's time for me to just do what I've missed doing for so many years now and fill a space with love. That's just kind of where I'm vibing at today. Is just wanting to make it feel like our old house did. Wanting to make it feel like when you first walk in that you energetically feel like you're getting a hug, to where it just feels good. I want to feel that. I want to be able to come back home and feel that way and continue to feel that way. So I guess that's my next objective in life right now, because everything else is with the animals and everything, and with the homestead is kind of to a state of autopilot right now, where things are just sort of cruising along and stuff, just like floating down the lazy river. And that's kind of where I want to be too, is just, I want to just soak it all in, I suppose. So anyways, that's it for today. I want to try to get a little bit more things organized upstairs in our room, get things unpacked, finish doing some deep cleaning. It's kind of like spring cleaning's actually been happening around here, and it's been much needed. So anyways, thanks for watching. Have a good one, guys.